I'm so happy to be here so that we should talk and enlighten our women and the world at large. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. And just to add that one of the key virtues that Mommy Muki Harriet upholds is modesty. You have a thing for modesty. Maybe I'll be modest. Maybe I'll dress well. I need my children to be this. So why is it that thing for modesty? One looking at you, you don't need any formal introduction as far as modesty is concerned. But what is that connection that you have with modesty as a human person, as a woman?
Yes, Mabel, you see, before being a counselor, I will always go back to my era when we were growing. Your presentation, your dressing code, from the hair to your toes, had to auto determine and to tell who you are. Because if we can also, there is a popular say that through your dressing codes, they can know a monk, although everybody in a monk dressing is not a monk. And then also your dressing codes will also will also provoke, or will also determine the way you will be addressed, and you will be respected. Mm-hmm. And that's what I can tell you, that I bet you if you have fitted dressing, they will also address you as your dressing, yes, shows. But again, if you are well dressed, they will also address you accordingly. And good dressing pays.
Thank you so much. I think there is this popular saying which stands out to be, dress the way you want to be addressed. That has worked for me so many times.
Yeah.
People have gotten to have the right conception of me because of the way I dress, not even the way I carry myself.
Yeah.
Because you can carry yourself well, but the way you dress still washes down and narrows everything.
Yes.
So today we are talking about Women's Day, and the theme, the day itself, what the relevance of that day, why that day ought to be celebrated, and how it ought to be celebrated, and the impact it has had. So I think within this thing, we are going to be building something very sensitive and momentous discussions today. Let me turn to Mommy Etonger, who seems to have done a lot of research, and everything about you being the therapist, it's all about mostly women, and you have a thing for women. You have that crush for women. Do you think that first and foremost, women ought to be given an international day, a place, if at all?
Sure, they should, because the woman plays a very vital role in the society, from the home to the outside. So if a woman has this vital role, I think nobody wants to undermine this statement or want to argue it. You know the role your mother has played in your life. You know the role your sisters play or played in your upbringing or are doing right now. So women play a vital role. And when you see a man that marries a good woman, or that they match and it goes, you see they progress differently. So in order for our society, the international world at large, to progress and to move forward, we need the women to come along. And I think this is because maybe it couldn't have been an issue if the women had their place from the beginning. This should be partly because from the beginning, women were not given the rightful place through our norms, through our values, through our laws. But now the world at large looked at it and said, hey, these women playing a vital role means let's bring them closer and let's give them that opportunity to do what they can do. Have you seen a woman as an administrator? Take the few administrators that exist. When there's an institution, a company, an organization, when a woman takes power, many things changes. To every law there's an exception, I know. Not all women, but majority of the women, when they take power or when they're in authority, there's a way things will go. Yeah. Considering that women bring forth life. When you still have some men who say, I better carry those human beings in my loins for years before giving it to you. You carry just for 9 months. Yeah, but for 9 months you're breathing, something is breathing, and you bring that thing forth. There's a way that a woman will handle a case, and so it's good we give them the opportunity. So such a day is to sensitize and to create awareness that these women have something they can offer. I think Madam Henrietta can highlight more on that, but we cannot ignore the fact that women play a vital role in our society.
No, but don't you think that women are being overhyped, or they are giving that relevance that they are not due? Because just like what you said, some men may think that women do not even deserve this place that is so much given to them. What's so spectacular about the women? The women bring forth life. And there is another saying that if you want to educate a society, educate a woman. You know, so yes. I don't know how true. What is so exceptional about a woman that they deserve, or they are deserving of a spot?
Maybe let me take just normal daily examples. At home with the children, let me talk to the father and the mother. Who spends more time with his children?
The mother.
The mother. And so when she spends more time, what is she doing with the children? And so you see that if you want to educate a nation, the nation are these children, right? Mm-hmm. Because they're the leaders of tomorrow. Okay, if you want to grow them well, properly, and this woman has the skills, what it takes. If you look at the theme of this year, you go to the sub themes, there is positive parenting, and that caught my attention so much as a counselor. Why? Because if the woman has the necessary skills to train these children to be the proper or the best parent to these children, they're training a nation. The father believes in the morning that he will need this money and go, comes back, some come back drunk, some come back very tired. They had to hustle, look for money. That is the way the society made it. This woman spends more time, even women who are working. Yes, you gave me all the titles on Eddie Bumbo, but I still spend more time at home, or still spend more time with the kids, more than my husband will do. Why? Because in all what I do, I know there is a family to raise. Hey, those children, what are they doing now? Right now, I'm sitting here, I know where they are, I know what they're doing, they're supposed to be doing. So, but a father will just say, their mother is there. So it's necessary to invest in these women. And that's why you see, when you invest in them, you accelerate progress. As the theme of this year goes, when you invest in a woman, we're not just talking of financial investment, economic. I'm talking overall holistic investment. These women need it because they spend more time. The neighbor you're complaining that beats up the wife or the partner every day, this neighbor was raised by a mother. If this woman was aware that I'm raising this boy to become a father tomorrow and to become a husband, and the mother is aware that I should raise this child in this manner, through these sensitizations that we're talking about, you see that the mother will have raised that boy differently, and then the society will be different. The problems we have today, the people in authority or the people causing us trouble today, they were raised by women. So if we invest in these women more, if we invest in them and help them build more skills, it's going to progress our society. Our society is going to progress better and faster. That's just a fact.
Thank you so much. That is just a fact. But let us see if truly it is a fact, or even though some men are still going to debate it. I've heard men who say, my wife and I got divorced and I was with the kids, or my wife died and my kids are up and standing tall. I had a conversation with this man last 2 weeks, who is a single parent, and the man is doing exceptionally well with his kids. So those kinds of men will always have some
exceptional
school of thought and all of that. But let us hear from somebody whose opinion also matters on matters. So, Mom, with all what the therapist has said, do you cue into this? Women are deserving of a spot. Women are that so rock of the society, that springboard of society. Women, if you touch a woman, it's going to cause a ripple effect. Education from a woman, everything from a woman. In fact, the pillar of the nation, society, is a woman. Do you agree with that in any way?
Mabel, what she said, she has really touched it. And let me put some salt and maggies and let me spice it again. Mabel, I'm so happy with the institution of the International Day of the Women. Then, I would like us to first of all begin by understanding the purpose of this day. The purpose of this day, the overall purpose, is to advocate for the educational, the political, the cultural, the socio-economic rights of a woman. Rights of a woman. And it is good to understand the genesis, where this day came from. And the distance, years or even centuries.
For over 39 years now.
No, 39 years is not the duration of the existence of this day. I really want us to go to the root so that we can understand how it has evolved. We can also understand the way that we can be celebrating, because this is all about women who gave their lives, women who suffered more than all what we are even saying that we are suffering today. Then when you know the reason why this day is existing, when you know the reason behind the existence of this day, then maybe you are going to celebrate it in due form. You are not going to celebrate it with the petition. You are not going to celebrate it in with so much chaos, carelessness, cacophony, and all what we can enumerate. Let me tell you, this day saw its roots from the Industrial Revolution, and we should first of all understand that from the genesis of the Industrial Revolution till today, we had three. The first one was in 1760s, and the second one in the 1870s, and the third Industrial Revolution in the 1950s. Then this one started during the second Industrial Revolution. Are you getting me?
Very well.
Where women were authorized by the Government Employment Bureau. The Government Employment Bureau of then encouraged women to seek employment in factories. Which women did. They seek employment in factories. But the women immediately, they started working, they saw that there were a lot of discrimination against them. One, they were not allowed to get to postulate or to seek a job with high payment, high salaries. They were not also, and men started also seeing them as a threat to their security. And those women, they were, or we can even say that they were almost not even being paid, and the working conditions were horrible.
Because they were women.
Because they were women. They will even tie children, babies on their backs. They will work, no resting period, no break, no consideration for the load that they are carrying before working, and they were obliged, they were to render the same productivity, the same result like the men under these conditions. So that started revolting them. We should say it, because these are the roots. It started revolting them. Now, in 1840s, in 1840s, they started advocating for their right. They started manifesting, and when they manifested, obviously, in the 1840s, they obtained their conditions were changed. Their working conditions were changed, but it was just like a water that you throw in a desk bag. But they lacked the right, because they lacked all what it needed them to really see that their right is fully recognized, that their conditions are really changed. They lack the right, they lack recognition, and they lack the experience. That's what they were lacking. I think you are getting me. And one of the discriminations that the women were also suffering then, not only in the industries, it was also the right to vote. They were not given the right to vote. They were not also, they could not keep any wage that they earn. They were not also given, they could not also hold, they were not given the right to inherit properties. So these are some of the things that
led to the reason.
Yes, They did not have right to inherit any property. They did not have the right to vote. They did not have the right to have the work with highest payment. So it then paved way to protest. They started protesting. They started manifesting, and then within that time, in many countries, some group of women started being formed, and they started also asking for the women to also gather for the conference of socialist women to start taking place. That's how in 1809, it's 1909, that was the first conference of the socialist women. This conference was meant for these women purposely to gather and to talk about their conditions of work. In 1909, they gathered, and the purpose was to talk about all what was forming their discriminations, and then were making them not happy. So when they gathered in 1909, and during the second one in 1910, that's when a powerful woman called Clara Zetkin, a German woman, during that conference, she gave the proposal of the existence of Women Day.
Okay.
You understand?
Wow.
And then she received the approval and the support of the majority.
What did you say her name is?
Clara Zetkin.
So that's even a straight, a white woman.
Yes. Mm-hmm. It started then in the country of white people. Okay. So Clara Zetkin, during that second conference of the socialist women, she gave that idea, and then everybody, nearly the 3/4 of the women were for. And then from then now, during that year of 2010, they started making small movements, arrangements, and then in 1911, this day came to existence.
That's 1911?
Yes, 1911. That is the first ever day of the celebration of the women, of the women. So, and from there now,
other nations started adopting.
Other nations started adopting. Then, from there now, after some few years of celebrations,
so it's been about 113 years.
Yes,
mm-hmm.
Yes, that began. So from there now, it started being spreading. It started gaining grounds until when it happened. It came a year where they decided that it should be internationally, and subsequently, I will tell you the evolution and tell you where Cameroon became involved. You understand that it left the international level. First of all, came at the regional level, talking of Africa, mm-hmm. before now taking the other angles, the other places, as Cameroon today is celebrating its 39th edition. Mm-hmm. So women paid a lot for this day to exist.
But Mrs. Henriette, we celebrate this day without having first-hand information of how this day even emanated, including myself as a presenter. Most people do not, or most women do not have the decency to get back into history. They are just carried away with the pomp, the peasantry, the excitement of the day, and the fabric of the day. Mm-hmm. So, Mrs. Mabel, do you think that it is something that every woman needs to put hands on deck to say, I first of all need to know how this day started? Is it at all very necessary?
It is necessary because there's a saying that when you know your history guides you. It guides you, and you will not repeat some errors.
Okay.
And so if women were advocating for their rights, it means it might help you understand some things that you don't think, maybe you don't know that these are my rights. It will help you know your rights, as especially it came from Industrial Revolution, from the place of work. In your place of work today, do you have your rights as a woman? You'll be asking yourself that question. And then you'll be joining the rest of the world to say that, okay, this is what women are supposed to, this is what women are due. Like the last time we were here and we were talking about the minister's letter, who stated that if a student gets pregnant, do not dismiss, expel the student from
and
school. It made a lot of noise. Why? Because if women themselves were against it, but if they know what we talk about Women's Day, how it came about, our rights, you understand that. Why do we expel these girls? And then the boys who got them pregnant are allowed to stay in school and study. You see, that is discriminatory. Already, it's discriminatory. It's not that lady didn't write a letter to, oh dear God, I want to come like a lady. It happened. And this one didn't write a letter, I want to come as a man so that I will never get pregnant. And if I get somebody pregnant, they will expel the person. It's not going to rub on my face. Yes. You see, when a lady abandons a child, gives birth to a child and throws, the lady will be, they'll investigate. If they get her, trace the lady will go to prison. People will hardly ask, who was the father of this child? Where is he now?
The perpetrator.
The perpetrator. Did he take his own role? Was he doing what he was supposed to do like the father? We're talking about the rights of the woman. Yes. I'm not in any way supporting that you should give birth to a child and throw. God forbid, I will never. But then when these things happen, why we trace the woman for her to be punished, because it is the right of that child. Yes, the right of that child, that baby that you have abandoned. Why we trace the woman to punish her for doing that? Let's equally trace the father of the child. This child does not come from space. Let's equally trace the father of the child. Let the both of them account for it. Let's trace and then maybe realize that he did his part. He was giving money, or he was ready to take the child to the sister, to the mother, and the woman refused and vehemently decided to destroy this new baby. Than focusing only on the woman. It is equally the father's responsibility. So when we are talking about rights, let's extend it to these things. And as the society, we are the nation. Let's start it from around us. When such a thing happens, ask, who is the father of this child? Let's go to the man. What did you do in order to remedy this situation? Were you in the picture or you disappeared? So it is necessary for us to know. And you see right down to a very little girl with Happy Women's Day, Happy Women's Day, and they are still being marginalized. And it brings also a guide. Most of us celebrate it the wrong way. We think that it's a day that we will not cook. It is a day that we're not going to take off the children, because it is Women's Day, 24 hours. We need to flex and do other things that yes. So that is not it. It is the day for us to cry or to be sensitized on our rights.
Thank you. So now I think having heard from the two power voices that we have on set, it is very incumbent for us to creep a little more deeper. Everything they have said has gotten to do with the subject matter, but I think we should get a little bit insightful about what the topic seems to advocate for. That is the methodology in which women are supposed to celebrate this day. But while we celebrate, don't celebrate in ignorance. Mommy Moki here has given something very sensitive, knowing the roots of the celebration. So I think every woman who is an insightful woman and a modern day woman, a contemporary woman, it is your place to know how this day began in the first place. It is your very place for you to know who was the first lady who ever initiated and in what year, and how long this Women's Day ritual has been ongoing for. Now, Mrs. Moki, I would want you, Mom, to tell us how women are supposed to go and celebrate this day, how they are supposed to carry this day in their hands. Would you agree with me that this day has caused a lot of havoc in homes? I used to remember, not in my house particularly, but my father used to have a particular amount that he gives my mom, not even New Year. I mean, he gives my mom for every Women's Day to do her hair, her clothes. So very early in the morning, we take charge of the chores, and mom is off to the field, and she has her allowance and only comes back in the evening. The only thing my dad can tell her is, before 9 o'clock you don't come back. So so do you think, what is the judicious way to go about the celebration of the Women's Day, if at all?
Oh, Mabel, yeah. Maybe with your permission, if we can first of all start from digesting the theme.
Okay.
Before we go now to the
No
celebration.
problem. Please, have your way.
Okay, I'm so impressed by the existence of this
theme.
day.
Mm-hmm.
Of this day. This day is, since it's being celebrated, it is in two dimensions. Every celebration is in two dimensions. It is first of all to advocate, because right is never given, it is seized. And when we talk of seized, it's not yet by using arms, it's not by using weapons, it's not by using brutality, but it is advocacy. It is by doing so many things, looking for the ways that will make, creating awareness and sensitization, so that it enters people's minds and remain there, so that their habits, their behaviors will change towards that which does not favor women or favor a woman. And also, it is, as is celebrated every year, it is to also check the achievements. What have we achieved as we have been celebrating these over years? You can take it in a duration of 5 years. You can take it yearly. You can take it even in a decade. You assess, you evaluate, and to see whether they've been tangible or significant achievements. So I'm so happy for this to be existing every year, which is for advocacy and sensitization, and also to check if achievements are done, so that we see where we are going wrong, in order to amend, in order to improve for the expected outcomes that we need. And the theme of every year is very perfect. It gets towards that which we should have to make the life of a woman a suitable life. The theme of this year: invest, accelerate growth or development or progress, as we can put it. When we talk of investment, now we are talking of tangible things. We are not at the level of item 11. We are at the level of what do we do as we are sensitized to do the things that will profit the woman. We have to, when we talk of investment, is at different levels. Is to add a value, is to give the opportunity, is to give that possibility to a woman, so that to make her being productive, to make her actively participate to the nation building. When we talk of nation building, we start from herself, her family, the society, the community, and the world at large. I think you are getting me. When the value that you have, the ability that you have, when a value is added to it, there's no way you remain the same person you were before the value being added. That's what I can say. And then when the value is being added, as Mabel said, when you invest in a woman, you give her the capacity, you give her the knowledge, you give her the skill to become better. And there's no way a woman can be better, and people around her herself, she does not change. People around her don't feel the change. They don't feel that knowledge. You understand? So I am saying that we should invest, we should add values in a woman. And then I will start by saying that the actors who have to invest in the woman or in these women, there are the followings. We have the family, as Mabel was saying. Before being a woman, you are a child. You have to grow. And when we talk here, we talk a matter of personality. When a woman is the woman who bears children, when she is enlightened, when you give her the knowledge, when she has the skill, even the way that she nurtures the children will be different.
Yeah.
And then we talk of home education, which is what we call informal education. Informal education is that which we get in our homes. We get from the homes. And this one, nobody can pay. That is the foundation of every human being. life and personality, because the first agency to shape your personality, either good or bad, is the family.
It's a family.
And who is that? Who is the author or the motor behind that good or bad?
Your parents, especially the woman.
And the woman, you understand. So the family has to invest in the woman. Mothers have to invest their time. And then the family still has to send this woman to school. And if I was just in a conference 2 days ago, and I was saying that we should contextualize whatsoever we are saying. We should not remain just at one level. We should go and touch all the levels, the classes of the society. If now the family invests in a child by offering the child a formal education, if the child cannot do it, I think the right thing is to even help the child to have that first school leaving certificate, so that the child should not be considered, that person should not be considered as a dropout. And there are cultures that don't send a woman to school right now, despite the efforts that the government, the civil societies, people in the community, in families, it is still a battle. We want to say that girl children should not be kept at the lowest level of education, and priority is given to the boys. There are families or cultures where some parents will struggle to send the girl child to have at least the first school leaving certificate. The battle that father, who maybe has understood that he should invest in the girl child, the battle he will be having with the family members is that, hey, your girl child is going to school, will not get married, and the dairy that you are eating from our girl children, when are we going to eat that from your own children? So it comes now, that culture or that mindset of the family members, it comes now to downplay on the progress of a girl child. Now, some families deliberately decide that the girl child, after the first school leaving certificate, she will get married. That's why we are saying that no. After that, please, families, it is good to make her learn a trade. If she learns a trade, then it will be good for her. It will be good for her, and it will be good for the family. Now, the other agency, the other factor to invest in a girl child is the community. When a woman is a community, by inserting the women at the level of decision making in the community, for example, in the quarter heads, in a development, in the executive of the community development. So we want to tell the community that invest in a woman also by accepting them, by making them, those especially who are willing, and those who are not even willing, you people make them, because there is something that we call, you can learn also being in the thing, being inside the thing. You can learn, you can learn being inside. And there are also some communities or some groups, when a woman wants to advocate for, she wants to also be part of it and participate, they will send her behind. They will say no, she cannot. So what we are here to say is that even at the level of the government is doing a lot already, but we are still appealing that the government should do more and more. So the family should invest in a woman, the community should invest in a woman. Even at the job site, there are certain bosses whereby when they want to give responsibilities or promote, even in some companies, the CEOs and the directors, when they want to promote or give a certain responsibilities to some employees, the woman, no matter the way she will prove her dynamism, they will not take her. And I don't know why. They will not take her. I don't know why. Subsequently, we are going to see the factors of limitations. Yes, we are going to see the factors of limitations. The things that are also limiting women, those who are even willing to do something, there are many factors limiting them. So that's what I can tell you. When you invest in a woman, you help her to be productive. And when she's productive, there is growth.
Thank you.
in her life, in the community, and in the nation at large.
And in the nation at
large.
large. Of course, we cannot, it goes without saying that the very essence, or one of the very essence of celebrating the Women's Day, the International Women's Day, is for every woman to understand that the day is meant to embalm them in a sense of productivity. We get on the jingle break, and when we return, we meet Mrs. Mabel, the therapist, for more insight on this subject. Don't go anywhere. And in case you're not having a swell time watching this program, that you are missing out. What could you be doing at this particular point in time if you're not tuned to matters where we are going to be discussing the very essence of the Women's Day? I grew up knowing that the Women's Day, everything that there is to the Women's Day is just about looking flashy, getting into unhealthy competition, eating and letting the men be at the helm of it all that day. Okay, but now I've had my mothers here in the studio who have been educating me and making me see a different perspective to the Women's Day. Talking about perspective, Mommy Mabel, what is this perspective to Women's Day? Besides the clothes, the shoes, what are women supposed to see when they see